Hey folks, welcome to another edition of Play Branson, where you get to know Branson's entertainers better. And today on the show I have a new guest, never been on the show before, Dino Phillips. He is probably one of the most well-known drummers in Branson. He might be the first drummer that I've actually ever had on the show. So you're going to want to stay tuned to learn more about Dino here in our next segment. Looking really forward to talking to him and learning more about him. Branson is known for its family entertainment. And I think if you looked at all the entertainment across the country, you'd find that Branson has more families, entertaining families, than anywhere in the country. And so we have folks like Six, the Bretts, the Hughes, the Haygoods, the Presleys, the Maid family. There's lots of folks that are family entertainers. The Duttons, the Coopers. I know I'm probably missing some. The Tabuccis. There's just a lot of great family entertainment in Branson. And you might be saying, man, I am ready to get out of my house. I've been cooped up. I've been staying home. But Branson is open and ready to serve you. And so come on to Branson. Fall's going to be a great time to be in Branson. Got a dumb question that people have asked. A lot of times if you watch the show, I'll do stupid stuff on the show. And or stupid questions, dumb questions, things that make you go, and so here's some we found. Dumb questions that people have asked. Not me, I haven't asked these, but some other people have. Here it is. Can I safely look at a picture of the sun? Dumb question. Are there birds in Canada? I know they have moose. Yeah, those are pretty dumb questions. I think we're going to stop there. I'm not even going to tell you the third one because I just think it's dumb. Really dumb. Like, those were dumb, but I think those were really dumb. Folks, we're going to be back in just a second with more on Dino Phillips. Hang tight.
There are so many things to do in Branson. You need help planning and booking all your fun. You need iBranson.com. You can find everything Branson has to offer from your computer, tablet, or cell phone. You can even buy tickets online or talk to one of their friendly Branson travel specialists. There's no sales pitches, no delivery fees, no service fees, and no waiting. It's fast and easy. Find your fun at iBranson.com. Do it all online or call 877-ENTERTAIN. That's 877-368-3782. iBranson.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to Play Branson, and today I am here with Dino Phillips, just an extraordinary drummer in Branson. First time you've been on the show. Welcome, Dino. It's good to have you here today.
Hey, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
So, you've got a long history in this town, but you've got a history of drumming and all that before. So take us way back, how this all started for you.
Well, my mom always said that I was going to be a drummer. She knew I was going to be a drummer when I was 3 years old.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I started really getting serious about it when I was 5 or 6 years old. And have been playing ever since. And I'm 53 now.
Wow. So that's, 40 some odd years.
Long time.
So you're drumming at 5. And so kind of walk us through like what that looked like as you grew up.
Well, she wanted me to play piano first. And I took piano lessons, and my brother was taking piano lessons at the same time. And I decided that I wanted to be a drummer, and I didn't want to play piano or organ. And so the instructor told her, I can't do anything with him. He doesn't want to learn piano or organ. Let him play drums. And so she did, and so I started going to the Casa Conservatory of Music in St. Louis for a few years, and it spun there. Yeah.
And so, were you in bands in high school then, or?
Yes, I was in all the bands in high school. I went to a Catholic high school called Mercy High School in University City, Missouri, and played in marching band, stage band, concert band, all the bands.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what happened after that?
I decided when I graduated that I really didn't want to go to college, so I started pursuing just a regular day job and working with bands at night. And I was in a few successful bands in St. Louis for about 4.5 years.
Okay.
And I just decided that after 1990 that I wanted to do something different. So I had a business partner, and we decided we were going to move to Branson and open up a business. And that's what we did. And I did that for 2.5 years. And then somebody saw me playing drums in a club here in Branson. I just went to regular jam sessions here in Branson, and asked me to fill in for him at a show, and I've been playing ever since.
So that one chance kind of at that where you filled in really has led to kind of a second career for you.
You bet. Actually, a first career, believe it or not.
So what was the business that you had way back when you first came to Branson?
Well, when I first moved here, I had a kiosk in the Branson Mall called Flamingos.
Okay.
And sold perfume oils and sunglasses.
Okay.
And did very well, as you well know, everybody did in 93, 94, and 95.
And so back in that time frame in Branson, that Branson Mall, they had a stage, if I remember correctly, where people would perform for free a lot of times, and they'd sell CDs and all that.
Yes.
And so that mall, of course, is still there. There's nothing in it now, but that was a pretty happening place back in the day.
It was. There was a group called Rusty Lace that used to play there, and their son was like 14 years old, and he got real sick. And they came over to my booth and said, hey, we heard you were a drummer. Would you mind sitting in with us for the day? And I was like, well, sure, you know. And I said, we'll teach you the songs as we go along. And that was really my first time ever playing in Branson, Missouri.
So take us on the journey now of, okay, you filled in at this one, your first time here in Branson. So kind of talk to us about where you've been, what shows you've been in, and kind of.
After I filled in, I decided to join a group that went on the road, and it was a country act here from Branson, and we had an agent out of Texas that put us all over the map. We had a bus and everything, and we traveled a lot.
What was the name of that group?
It was called Go West at the time.
Go West. Okay.
Yeah. And it lasted for about 1.5 years, and then I got offered a 50 show here in town after I had done the subbing gig with the guy that asked me to sub for him. And that's how all of this started, really. And the guy that was in that morning show that I subbed for said, hey, man, I would really like to talk to you about maybe next year doing the drumming for the 50 show. And so I never thought he would even call me back or whatever, but he did. And that's how it started.
So that was Lost in the 50s, is that right?
No, 50s at the Hop.
50s at the Hops, because we had a couple different 50s
I know,
shows.
this was before Lost in the 50s.
Okay,
Yeah.
so 50s at the Hop, and was that the Copelands?
Yes.
Yes.
Bob and Roberta Copeland.
Yes, I remember them.
Yes.
So how long did you do that for them?
I worked with them for 6 years.
Okay.
And then I worked with, I subbed for Robbie Blackwood at the Lost in the 50 show. And then I got a gig playing with John Tweed's morning show. And then the Paul Harris show. I did his show for a few years.
Okay, yeah.
When Clay Cooper was in that show. And after that, Tony Roy was looking for a drummer, the Elvis impersonator. And I worked with him for 6 years. And when I got the gig with Tony, the Haygoods saw me with Tony, and their drummer, Monty Yoho, was leaving. And so they asked me to join the group, and I can say that I've been there successfully for 18 years. 18
years. And
Yeah.
you're like the only person in their group that is not a family member.
That's right.
Right? I mean, you're probably like family now.
Yeah, I do feel like family there.
You know,
You bet.
that's a long time.
They're good people. Good family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're doing the Haygoods. And then you also now are doing #1 hits of the 60s.
Yes, this will be my 4th year doing #1 hits of the 60s. And actually, Amber was in the original 50s at the Hop show I did back when I did that. So she expressed an interest of me maybe coming over after I was doing another Elvis show, and he was folding his show up and moving somewhere else. And so I went to see the show, and I was just so impressed. I was like, I'm in. I'll do it. And so, yeah, it's a great, wonderful decade-type show. It, has a little bit of 50s in it, lots of 60s, as it's called, number one hits of the 60s, and a bit of 70s as well.
So how many songs are you doing in that show?
I think this year it's about 108 songs.
108 songs.
Something like that,
yeah. So you've been here in Branson for a long time.
Yes.
You've seen, of course, lots of change over that. And
I have. Still changing.
Still changing.
Yeah.
Yes. So COVID has probably affected your life, obviously.
Sure.
And I'm guessing you're glad to be back drumming?
Blessing.
Yeah.
Very much a blessing.
Yeah. Okay, folks, I tell you what, we're going to stop right here. This is a good place to stop. We'll be back in just a minute with more with Dino Phillips.
There are so many things to do in Branson. You need help planning and booking all your fun. You need iBranson.com. You can find everything Branson has to offer from your computer, tablet, or cell phone. You can even buy tickets online or talk to one of their friendly Branson travel specialists. There's no sales pitches, no delivery fees, no service fees, and no waiting. It's fast and easy. Find your fun at iBranson.com. Do it all online or call 877-ENTERTAIN. That's 877-368-3782. iBranson.com.
Hey, folks, welcome back to Play Branson. We're here today with Dino Phillips, drummer extraordinaire, longtime drummer. Is there anybody that has drummed more than you in Branson? Like off the top of your head?
I hate to answer that question. I'll tell you what really got me thinking about playing in Branson was watching Tim Pope with Tony Orlando years ago. Mm-hmm. And Tony Orlando, the president of his fan club, she had expressed an interest of me going out to dinner one evening, and so we went to Starvin' Marvin's for dinner, and she said, I got a friend that wants to meet you, and I said, okay. And so about 10 minutes later, Tony Orlando walks in, and he sits down, and he has this long discussion, and he asked me, he said, I heard you're a drummer. And I said, yeah, I'm a drummer. And he goes, are you a good drummer? And I just kind of looked at him and he said, now you know if you're a good drummer or not. And I said, yeah, I'm a good drummer. And he goes, and he puts his hand on my wrist and he goes, well, you should be playing drums. And it was just like a sign to me to go home and get my gear and bring it back and start playing. And I started practicing and
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I love hearing everybody's story about how they get into the music business, the people that have influenced them.
Sure.
And even like there's this thing is like whoever you worked with in the past, be nice to them and maintain those relationships because probably down the road you're going to end up working with them again, especially in this town.
True. And this is a small town.
It is a small town.
Small little big town. That's what I call it.
So in number one hits of the 60s, how many songs are you guys doing? Because it's a lot.
It's a lot of songs. I'm thinking this year, I think it's like 108 songs.
108.
And and they're medleys, so they're cut down by just doing verses and choruses or a bridge here and there,
So as a drummer, and I'm going to ask a dumb question, but do you drum differently in all those 108 portions of those songs, or is some of it the same? Or
some of it's the same, some of it's different. And that's what makes it unique is the fact that Matt Mahobarak, Amber's husband, that plays keyboard, and he's the musical director in the show as well. He knows how to put a show together. Mm-hmm. He's a great arranger. So, yeah.
So you've been drumming with the Haygoods for 18 years. So you've literally seen those kids probably kind of grow up on stage.
Yes, I have watched them grow up. It's been amazing. I remember the first time I came in to play for them, and Catherine said, "Are you the new drummer?" And I said, "I hope so." So I really watched them all grow up.
And talk a little bit about. I guess both shows, if you'd like. Like if someone's never seen number one hits of the 60s or the Haygoods, like what can they expect out of both of those shows?
Well, I think number one hits of the 60s, represents the way the decade went, because they picked the number one songs from that decade to do. They don't do anything out of the ordinary that you wouldn't know. You know, they're all hits. So it's neat to look out and see the looks on people's faces when they remember a song. You know, that's what that show does for me. Is it's like, wow, we're taking these people back.
Yeah. Well, and I grew up in the 70s, but I have seen that show, and even then, I mean, I recognize a lot of the songs. Yeah.
And we do a 5-minute portion of the 70s at the end of the show now, that we just started doing a couple of years ago. And it's going great.
Yeah. And 50s music, and I heard you say 50s music is kind of in there as well.
Yeah.
A lot of that kind of has become timeless music.
It really has. It really has.
You know.
Yeah.
Now, you did mention that you were in a heavy metal band off camera. So, like, did you have the long hair, or like?
Actually, before I moved to Branson, I had dreadlocks.
You had dreadlocks.
Yeah, and I just decided to cut them off a couple of weeks before I moved to Branson.
Yeah.
I was really just tired of them.
Yeah.
I'd had them for a few years, and I was just tired of them.
So, once again, you've played all kinds of music.
All different genres, yes.
Yeah. You have won Drummer of the Year and Best Drummer by, it says here, Branson Terry and Branson Show Awards.
Yeah.
And so congratulations on winning those
Appreciate
awards.
It. Yeah.
If someone's never been to Branson, like, how would you describe Branson to them?
I always say that Branson's its own entity.
Yeah.
There's no other place like it. It's a great thing for entertainers here, and entertainers years ago told me this, that the great thing about being in Branson is I can go home between shows and be with my family. And I think that's a great thing, that you don't have to live out of a suitcase and go from town to town. You know, I mean, I think that's okay in some respects, but for people that have families, it's hard.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
What do you think's on the horizon? Like, if you had to be the, future teller of what's Branson Entertainment look like in the future, any thoughts on that?
Well, it's really hard to say with the COVID thing, but it's like you said earlier, the show must go on, and we're doing everything in our power to make the show go on. And keep ourselves safe and keep the crowds safe as well.
Yeah. And so you've seen crowds. Of course, people are social distancing at the shows.
Yes.
And some people are probably wearing masks, and other people probably are not.
Yes, we wear masks backstage for sure.
No, you got backstage.
Yeah.
And of course, a lot of the staff, at the theaters are wearing it. But when you're on stage, you guys are not wearing masks.
Right.
That'd be a little hard.
Yeah.
So, folks, if you're like, man, I don't know if I should go to a show. Let me just tell you, like, literally thousands of people have been to shows since Branson reopened, and we know less people are going to shows because people are concerned. But the Branson theater community has really done a great job of coming together and making it safer for people. And that's not just the theater business. That's hotels in Branson. That's restaurants. There's a lot of folks that are really trying hard because they need you to come. Because if you don't come, they don't have a job. They don't get to eat. And so we just want to encourage you to come to Branson. Like I always tell people, like 99.8% of people do not have COVID in Taney County.
Yes.
And so when you look at the percentages, it's really small. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be safe. You shouldn't be careful.
Sure.
But we also know that we have to keep living.
Yeah.
So
we have to take care of each other.
Yeah. So when you're not on stage, like, what do you like to do?
Well, right now I'm working on my house.
Yeah.
Which is really nice. I've got a few nice projects at the house, but I play a lot of music. I am a movie buff, and I practice continuously because you never know what's around the corner.
Yeah.
I like to keep up with all the different types of music that's out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've been doing this in Branson really for almost 30 years.
Well, why'd you say it like that?
Well, I'm trying to add in my head here real quick, but that's a long time.
Yes, it is.
And I think what it does, though, Dino, and I know that you may not like that, but what it does is it shows the quality of our entertainers and our musicians. And
yes,
you've got a long history, and you've perfected your craft, and
still perfecting it.
Yeah, and so, I think Branson, and we always talk about Branson family entertainment, but just and I love having just musicians on that. Like you're not up on the front part of the stage, but you're in the back holding it all together.
Yes,
and we have people that have really perfected, and they're continuing to get better, but they're world-class musicians, and Dino is one of them. And so, folks, go see him at Number One Hits of the '60s. Or the Hay Goods. He's in both of those shows. And both of those shows are at Clay Cooper's Theater out on West Highway 76 Country Boulevard, right across from the Titanic, right across from the Best Western Center Point Inn, right across from Montana Mike's, all in that area. It's and be sure if you see him, tell him you saw him here on Play Branson. Dino, it's been great having you on the show today.
Hey, thank you for having me. I appreciate
thanks for coming in. So we'll be back in just a minute with more. Hey folks, we're wrapping up the show. It's just about done. And if you want to go see Dino at the Number One Hits of the '60s or the Hay Goods, you can go to ibranson.com and book your entire Branson vacation there. You can call those folks at 877 Entertaining. They can help plan your entire vacation. Hey, we've got some things coming up. First day of fall is September 22nd. That's right around the corner. So plan your fall trip to Branson. And there's lots to do here in the fall. So great weather to go on trails or golfing. You can still go out to the lake and enjoy that. We've got crafts festivals out at Shepherd of the Hills. We've got crafts things going on out at Silver Dollar City. So come on to Branson this fall and have a great time. Our next episode, it's going to be huge. We have Mike Patrick, one of the hardest working entertainers in Branson. We've been trying forever to get him on the show, and he'll be here next week on Play Branson. You keep watching, we'll keep playing. We'll see you soon.